This is Actualize Freedom, straight talk on growing clicks and conversions on Amazon FBA from people doing it every day. Now here's your host, digital marketing acrobat, Danny Kenji Carlson.
What's up, guys? Danny Carlson here with the Actualize Freedom podcast, and today we have Mr. Alex Huditan. He is a seven-figure Amazon seller, and he's been selling for about 5 years, and also is really experienced in teaching. He is the best-selling Amazon course in Romania for Romanian sellers in particular. And he's also got some other cool projects that we're going to dive into a little bit later. But I think this is going to be a really good episode. If you are just starting out on Amazon or you're considering getting into Amazon, Alex has more experience than most people teaching people the fundamentals of what it really takes to become a seven-figure like himself on Amazon. And certainly with 5 years experience, there's a lot of gurus out there that have way less experience that are teaching people stuff. So we're going to ask Alex a lot of what has made him successful in today's interview. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Alex. How's it going?
Hey, Danny, thank you for inviting me. This is very nice. Thank you.
Awesome, man. And so you are actually in Canggu, same place as me in Bali. I don't know why we didn't do this in person. We just kind of got introduced to a friend here. You're not very far away. I could go ride my scooter over like 10 minutes across town and I could be at your place, no problem. But we are online entrepreneurs, right? That's how we normally do things across the other side of the world.
Right.
Awesome. So maybe if you want to dive a little bit into your Amazon experience of 5 years, like what was it like getting into Amazon way before all this crazy stuff is happening now? I'm sure it was a lot different back then, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Some things with some things it was different, and with some things not so different, because I got started in 2014, and I had to sell my car for the first inventory. It wasn't that much. I invested about $3,000 in the first inventory, and it grew very fast indeed. So I sell swimming products, and for my products it was it grew very fast. I was making $3,000 profit in the first month. The second month I ran out of stock. I didn't have any stock. I was like, the worst thing that can happen. And then I started making more and more and putting money back in the business, so that about the 6th month in, I was already making about $15,000 profit. And that's when I decided to put my favorite clothes in one big bag and started traveling around the world. And I've been doing that ever since. So my business now runs pretty much on itself, I can say, with a beautiful team. And we've been making 7 figures for some time now.
Awesome. So, I mean, that's like 1, 2, skip a few, making 7 figures with an automated team that you're working 4 hours a month on. But I'm sure there's a lot of things that you did right and a lot of things that you did wrong along that journey. So maybe let's start with things that you did right. Like, what would you, if you had to distill it down to just a handful of things that you totally did right and you would attribute a lot of the success of your 7-figure business to now?
Yes. Well, I can give you an example for it's pretty much basics what a lot of people are talking about. But I was doing this 5 years ago, and it wasn't so many people that were doing it. And that is good photos and having a bonus to your product, like your main product that you're selling. You are bundling it with another product that is helpful to your avatar, to your customer. So these are the 2 things that I did, and I was able to double my prices to what competition was doing because of the quality of the pictures and because I was offering something more in my package. And of course the packaging looked nice and everything. It was high quality, premium, all that stuff. I focused also on reviews, and we in Romania like to do things a little different. So my first reviews were from friends that I wrote the review for. And I also gave them pictures, like lifestyle pictures with some models and stuff that I did from Romania. So, and then I upvoted those reviews. So when you went on the listing, the first reviews that were top rated were, you can say, fake. Like I produced them, I made them.
Romanian
So I
style.
did that. Romanian style, yes, yes. So the basic thing is you have to have a good product. If you don't have a good product, the next reviews you're gonna get are going to be 1 star, and you're gonna fall off the first page in no time. But if you do have a good product, it's a good way of showing people how it is. And if you have great stories that you can add in the reviews, then it's great. It's the Romanian way, like you said.
Yeah,
So,
and so there's a few things I want to unpack before we move on to the third thing. So product photos, a lot of good people, they say that you need to make really good product photos, but people have no idea what it means. Like, do I spend $200 on some photos? Do I get like stock images, or do I pay a photographer thousands of dollars? Like, what is your definition of good product photos that actually sell products?
my let's say trick here that I used was that I'm from Romania, and prices are a lot cheaper. You know, everything is cheaper in Romania compared to US or pretty much anywhere else in the Western world. So the model was a friend of mine. The photographer, I paid maybe $100-$200. And everything I did with people that I knew around me, like the photo editor, the copywriter, everything was people that I could reach out to. And I was like, guys, this is one thing I think is going to change my life. I will be very grateful if you can help me with this. And then I'll be able to help you guys with something else. But it wasn't money. I wasn't giving them money in exchange, even if it was, sometimes 100, 200 and so on. So that was that's a big advantage living in Romania. Even now, you have this opportunity to do this very cheap.
Awesome. And yeah, it's like geographical arbitrage, right? It's something that we are currently doing right now by living in Bali.
Yes.
We can enjoy a much better lifestyle out here for the same or much less money than it would be in our home countries, right? And you can do the same in your business as well, which not a lot of people will actually go and think about. And then the second thing that you mentioned was reviews and getting friends specifically to leave reviews. Do you still, like, I know you did that when you started, but do you still recommend that people will do any tactics like that today?
I think people need to be careful. I don't know how true some rumors are about Amazon looking at if you're friends on Facebook with those people, those friends of yours. So being careful with it. I think it still works. I think you can still get away with it. Even people in US, you can send them money through PayPal, and that's how it works.
Okay, and let's give an example of that. Like, what are some ways that you be careful to make sure that it's not trackable, right? Because obviously there's certain ways, like maybe people are logging in on the same IP address, like on the same Wi-Fi, and then saying, right, and stuff like that you should probably be careful of. Or like a lot of people purchasing from your home city, like 20 reviews all coming from the same home city or something. So what are some precautions that you take?
I like to tell my students to focus on the second tier of friends. So we usually think about people that are around us, or you have in your Facebook list. But what about their friends, their acquaintances, the people they hang out with? So you may have, for Romanians, for example, you may have a cousin that is studying in US, and he's in like a campus. So you talk with him and you tell him, besides himself helping you, why not ask a few of his buddies if they can if they can get one of these products as well for free, and they'll be able to keep the product. And the only thing they need to do is to just copy paste this the text and add these photos. So people like to help that way. And even if they're older, they work somewhere, they have colleagues and so on. So it's not people around you in at first, but it's people in your second tier.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Yeah, I mean, if you were going to go this route, and guys realize this is against Amazon terms of service, right? This is definitely not recommended.
Yes.
But it is, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it, right? It's funny. I actually know someone who they went the college campus route, and they actually hired a college kid to set up a table on a college campus with a sign saying, cash for Amazon reviews kind of thing, that's a creative solution right there. We'll just say that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about reviews. We've talked about product photos. Let's maybe do one more. If you had to choose one more thing that you did right, that you would attribute your success to.
Outsourcing as soon as possible. And for me, that was customer service at first. And then pretty much everything else. I don't consider myself a good manager. So after I hired somebody for customer service, I realized I need also a manager. So I found a manager, and she then hired everybody else in the team. That's how I went about it. So I think it's focusing on your strength and not so much on your weaknesses, and figuring out that you don't need to learn how to be a good manager. You can hire one, and you can focus on the growth of the company, on the big vision, or whatever else is in your life, not only Amazon.
Yeah, I think that's so important too. That's actually something that took me way too long to figure out, is that I am not a good manager. I was managing things for so long until I realized that, hey, I'm actually I don't enjoy this. It's not my skill set, and my skill set is marketing and sales. I'm way better off just focusing on marketing, and I get a way higher ROI in my business focusing on that kind of stuff. But it's hard to let go. It's hard to let go of the reins, so to speak, right? Because it's your business, it's your baby. Was that a difficulty for you, just like letting go of the management of the company?
When I got started with this, and I saw the growth, and I saw it keep growing, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have like an empire. It's going to be like all over the world. I'm going to be in all the stores, and it's going to be like so big. But then I realized that this growth would also imply a lot of my time. And I decided I am going to make it as a lifestyle business, because the business is giving me enough money to live how I want. And it's still running very well, and the people that are working there are still very happy. It's just that I decided, I made a switch in my mind that it doesn't have to grow all the time, and to keep pushing all the time. Like, oh my God, another 10 products. Yeah. I was seeing this around me, and it wasn't for me. Like, it was like, no.
This podcast is brought to you by Kenji ROI, a complete done-for-you service for your Amazon listing creation and optimization. Everything from product photography, including lifestyle images with a real model, graphic design images and studio images, to the copywriting and keyword optimization, to videos and enhanced brand content if you're lucky enough to have brand registry. We also manage marketing when it comes to Amazon ads, and also for some bigger sellers out there who might be interested in building a messenger list, we offer services creating the ManyChat funnels to follow up with customers for more reviews, to help build your own audience so you can launch new products, to help rank for new keywords. And there is Facebook ads management built into that as well for the right sellers. So if you want to learn more about Kenji ROI, head to KenjiROI.com. That is actually my middle name, Kenji, with the ROI added on to the end. Yeah, and that's a realization that I think a lot of entrepreneurs eventually will come to once they hit a certain amount of money. I actually was out for dinner with a few very successful Amazon sellers last night, and one of them in particular, he's a multi-millionaire, has multi-million in cash and assets, and he really just had to check himself. Like, he was going to go into another partnership that would have just like boosted his workload and made him committed to just like grinding it out for another couple of years. But then he realized, hey, I'm a multimillionaire. I live like a pretty intense life of just working all the time. I could just really live still very comfortably and just work a lot less and do things that I enjoy. So obviously that's a conclusion that you came to as well. So like, how did you really come to that decision when I'm sure it's so tempting to just, you want to be a multimillionaire, 8 figures, like, there's always the next level to hit.
It is. And it's easy to get in that comparison game. I remember going to an ASM event, Amazing Selling Machine in Vegas in 2014. And I was so happy with how much I was making. Like I told you, like about 15K in profits, about 50,000 in revenue. And I went there so happy and I was so excited. And I thought, oh my God, I'm doing so well. And I meet people that were doing $500,000 per month. $1 million per month, 300,000, and so on. And I kind of like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm not doing enough. I need to push. And then for the next few months, I was in that state, like, oh, I need to push harder and push harder. And I woke up one day and I realized it's not, what am I doing this for? Like, I don't want the 8-figure thing. I don't want the title or whatever. I just want to live my life how I want it. And for my lifestyle, I don't need that much money. I was already making enough money to sustain my lifestyle. So why push harder when I'm not feeling so happy anymore? So it was a balance between doing what I want with my life and making money.
Yeah, it's very good. I think you've come to that conclusion. It might have something to do with the beautiful place that we live in, with beautiful surf breaks and awesome restaurants and really attractive members of the opposite sex running around everywhere. maybe, just maybe, right? Okay, so we talked about a lot of the things that you totally did right here. Now let's jump into some things that you did not do right. Every successful entrepreneur has some big failures, some big learning lessons. So let's start off. What is one of those big lessons that really had a good learning experience for you?
Yeah, I remember from top of my head, first running out of inventory, and then that was a big one. I ran out of stock, and it impacted my ratings, not my rating, where I was, like on the page. And then secondly, 1 year after, I took a loan from Amazon, and I invested all the money in inventory. I was talking with the suppliers, and I was like, 5,000, 5,000 of those, 2,000 of those, and so on, like very big amounts of stock. And as I said, my brand is focused on swimming, and our season, the best season, is the summer. And I was doing this order in September. I was ordering like crazy, but for the wrong season. So when the products came in, they had to stay in the warehouse and get dust on them because they weren't selling. I had to wait until May the next year, so I was able to sell again. So I had all this money blocked in stock. I had to pay back Amazon for the loan, and I had a few rough months then. I remember, like I was barely making it with the money that I had left before. Besides paying off Amazon and paying salaries and so on. So it was hard.
And what do you think, like, what are the key things from that experience that you learned, right? That's a really visceral lesson that I'm sure must have sucked to go through. What are the key takeaways from that one?
Key takeaways is know your numbers, know your forecast in a way, like look behind and see how you did, and if you cannot do that for your own brand, look at other brands how they did. Use Keepa if you want to see the history of the products. Use Google Trends to see trends for certain products, and don't put all your money in stock. That's that's the lesson.
That is a very important lesson to learn for sure. And when it comes to product ranking, that is a really common sticking point for newer Amazon sellers, how to launch and rank your product successfully. What are some bigger mistakes that you made in the product ranking and product launch category?
Ooh, mistakes. Well, I can tell you more from the mistakes that I'm seeing in the community. I don't really remember much.
Like if you're micromanaging too much, you're basically like the genius with 5 arms.
Oh, I remember being slapped on the wrist by Amazon for a few things that I was doing, like putting different words either on my main image or either in the title and so on. So I got banned for a few weeks even, and that affected my rating. And that's how I learned my lesson, to not do that anymore. And it's a lot of things you can do wrong. Keywords are a big thing. Like you have to understand the relevancy, and on what keywords you're trying to rank. You need to have those keywords in your listing, especially in your title and in your bullet points. So if you're going after a big keyword, you need to look at the top competitors and see how many times they have that certain keyword in their title, in their bullet points, and so on. So you mimic at first, you imitate them at first, and then after you get in those positions, you can change them if you want.
And so those keywords that you got suspended for, were those like trademark keywords or like promotional language? What kind of stuff was that?
It was free, and I had maybe something like guaranteed or the best, something very generic. It wasn't any trademark or any other kind of word. It was just stuff that Amazon doesn't particularly like.
Totally, yeah. They don't like subjective claims, best, or the best on Amazon, top selling on Amazon, like sale now,
exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
against the terms of service for sure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of things.
And Alex, you have a really interesting insight when it comes to what Amazon sellers really struggle with, because you have the top selling course in Romania for Amazon sellers. So what do you see Amazon sellers really struggling with in 2019? What are some of the trends?
I see, that's a good question. I see people still focusing on like one product, and they're trying to hit a home run with one product. They're looking at Jungle Scout or any other similar program, and they're seeing, oh, this product is making $50,000 a month. I need to go and do this product. The thing is, a lot of people, a majority of people starting out, they're looking at this the same way. So you have very high competition on just a few products, on just a few niches. So our strategy is 5 to the power of 5, and I'll explain that. 5 to the power of 5 means you have you get started with a product that you make $5 profit for every sale. You are selling 5 units of that product every day. You then add on to this product 5 variations. It can be color, bundles, it can be sizes, it depends. But you can add to the same product variations. And Amazon likes this. They like variation in a product. Don't want to go only with one product for always. You want to try it out, see if it runs, see if it makes the 5 units per day, and then you can add more variations. So it's $5 profit, 5 units per day, 5 variations, and then you start to build a brand. You start to have at least 5 products. After you have the 5 products, you start to focus on other marketplaces. Either Japan, Germany, UK, Middle East is just opening now. So you have all these other channels that you're selling your product, but the idea is you want to have 5 units per day. You're not going for the top sellers or anything. You are under the radar. You are like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 gives you $3,175 dollars of profit per day. Multiplied by 365, it's over $1 million in profit every year. So that's kind of an overview, a bird's eye overview of the strategy of going into Amazon and still being a place where you can have some sales, but not make it like from the get-go. It's not going to be 6 months and you're a millionaire on Amazon. It's going to take a while, but it's the safe way. And for especially, I'm teaching this in Romania, especially for Romanians, to get started and to have a few $100s every week. Every week, and then every month, it's great. And you're growing that. It's going to be thousands, it's going to be tens of thousands, and so on. So this is the strategy that we are still teaching now, 2019.
Nice. I really love that. And I really want to dive into something you said there, is that you're not going to be a millionaire in 6 months. It's going to take time, right? And this is, unfortunately, there's a lot of gurus out there right now they're using case studies of students who they've started making $50K a month their first month in, and 3 months later, they're, selling $100K a month. They're using that as a case study. And while that may be true, it's completely not normal. More than 99 out of every 100 Amazon sellers who get started are going to take way longer. I should say 99 out of 100 successful Amazon sellers are going to take much, much longer. It's a long-term game, right? I love the people out there who say that your first year, don't try to extract any profit out of the business. Just keep rolling it in and keep growing it, right? And that's having that long-term mindset, I think, is so important. And I would assume you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is the strategy. And it's also because you don't want to risk too much money. It may be a different strategy if you already have some capital and you want to invest it in Amazon. You're going to go for bigger products, more expensive products, but not with this strategy. You want to test first if it's good for you, if it suits you somehow, this business. And that's my advice. Don't start off with a lot of money and going in like crazy. Do something small, test it, and learn it, because it's a lot of things to learn. And then when you have some experience, try to do other things. It's great. You can do your own thing, but after you know the basics, after you know how it's how you were able to get a product on Amazon and have those 5 sales per day.
I totally love that, Alex. And there is one more thing that we mentioned at the start of the podcast here. Alex is working on an interesting project that isn't necessarily related to Amazon, but it's something that he's really passionate about. So tell us what you're getting involved in now, Alex.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for asking. I noticed with a lot of the students in the Amazon course that there was something at one point that they were getting stuck, or they couldn't get past a certain problem, issue. And this was mostly about their relationship with money, and also mindset in general. And I like to say also heart set, like what their heart is set on, like why they're doing this. So I joined, like with my buddy and my mentor David. We started a program which is called the 5-week prosperity challenge, and we go through a lot of the internal mindset changes that I had to went through, so that I was able to see the world differently, and it changed my perspective, all these teachings. And also the external, like how you interact with people, how you personal brand, and how you manage your environment. There's a lot of things that you may think, oh yeah, really? What does that have to do with making money? But actually they're kind of interconnected. I like to think how we do one thing, we do everything. So this is the 5-week prosperity challenge. And then we have a bigger group. It's called Enlightened Millionaires, but only people that take action and have results in the 5-week prosperity challenge are invited in this next group. And that's where we focus on connection, we focus on lifestyle, and impact. Yeah, that's I try to say that in one paragraph. I don't get to say I'm still working on saying that in a shorter amount of time.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think that kind of stuff is so, so important. I know, especially in my entrepreneurial journey, working on that kind of stuff is really the only reason I've been able to figure this whole business thing out. I didn't have any university. I went to college, but to be a carpenter had nothing to do with digital marketing or anything like that. I have no MBA. And so I had a lot of different mindset things I had to work through. You know, I grew up in a, fairly regular middle-class family where, like, we didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. So I had to basically change a lot of the preconceived notions I had about business and about entrepreneurship and about money in general. And I'd imagine that's a lot of the things that you dive into in what you're doing now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's based on experience. Of course, this experience also based on the books I read and so on, but I'm not just preaching from a book I read. It's stuff that I went through personally. And I believe it can help a lot of people, and I'm already seeing the results, and it's a great feeling to see people already making shifts in their life, transformations, like really powerful stuff.
Oh, I love it, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us on here. There's been a lot of really good tips here. I know certainly as a newer Amazon seller, this stuff is going to be really, really good for you guys. Listen to parts of these over again. There's some really good gold nuggets in there. And if people want to reach out to you online or learn more about the new project that you're working on, where can they do that?
They can reach me on Facebook. I'm Alex Huditan. And the other project that I'm working on now, the big community, it's enlightened-millionaires.com, enlightened-millionaires.com.
Awesome, Alex. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, if you want the show notes of this episode, head over to kenjiroi.com/blog. And honestly, we could use some not some Amazon reviews, some iTunes reviews, some Stitcher reviews, all that kind of stuff. You guys are Amazon sellers. You guys know the struggle with reviews. I'm here asking you for an unbiased review, not incentivized, so I don't get Jeff Bezos coming to hunt me down in my sleep. So head over, leave a review for us, and let us know what you think of the podcast. And until next time, guys, take care.
Thank you, Danny.
This podcast is sponsored by the Helium 10 suite of tools, and we at Kenji ROI have been using Helium 10 for more than 3 years now. They have so many tools packed into one. I don't think that there's a better value. And we use it all the time for ourselves and our clients, so we can actually recommend it from real experience. We use the keyword tracker to see how our product launches are doing, the keyword indexing tool to ensure that you're actually showing up for your main keywords. Super, super important step right there. And also Magnet and Cerebro, a really powerful combination for finding keywords your competitors are using or just finding new keywords to put into your listing in general. You should be using this on, at least a monthly basis to see if any new keywords are coming up, because new searches are coming up all the time, guys. Like, people are searching on Google. I forget the number, but a huge percentage of those searches are brand new, never been done searches. So if you guys want a discount code, you can use 50 Kenji ROI for 50% off your first month with Helium 10, or 10 Kenji ROI for 10% off for life. So that's a pretty good discount. You might as well. We use them and recommend them for years. So if you guys need that, you guys will definitely get good value out of Helium 10.
For show notes and resources mentioned in this episode, visit kenjiroi.com.